Gillette, the best a man can get.
Back here, first things first, with former All-Pro running back Brian Westbrook. Good morning, Brian.
Good morning. Good morning.
Brian spent a tough weekend at the Eagles game.
Yeah.
You brought your whole family to witness that. I'm so sorry. But you had fun?
My son was cheering the entire game. He was cheering for the Lions. He was cheering for the Eagles. Whoever was on the field, he was cheering for.
How old is he?
Absolutely.
How old is he?
He's 2.
He's 2.
He's just happy to be
He's just happy to be there.
All right, let's talk some Packers. Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay, now 3-0 for the first time since 2015. Great start for a team that's missed the playoffs in back-to-back seasons, and for a quarterback who's been riddled with nagging injuries during that stretch. But this year, Rodgers is liking the vibe around this team, and under new head coach Matt LaFleur.
All of us who've been here for a significant amount of time realize how different this feels. It's just a different energy. You know, it is palpable, it's contagious, it's charismatic, and it's fun. It really is. It's been a lot of fun. So it's obviously fun to win. We hold ourselves to a high standard offensively. We got to play better, but it's fun watching those guys on defense, you know. And we got to keep picking up our load and being a little more consistent. But it is a different vibe.
Or in other words, winning cures all. Whatever's going on behind the scenes, if they're winning right now, everybody seems to be happy. What was your reaction to what Aaron Rodgers had to say?
I think you're absolutely right. You can't tell in that video, but I think he is happy. They've played 2 of the toughest defenses in the league so far, Chicago and Minnesota, and they've won all of those games, even when they played Denver. I think this team is building a good foundation. I think they're putting in place all the things that you need to win. Number 1, they're protecting the quarterback. The Green Bay Packers are tied for the most time in the pocket to throw, 3.06. 6 seconds to throw the football. When you have one of the best quarterbacks in the league, you have Valdez-Scantling as well as Devontae Adams, and you have that amount of time to throw the football down the field, that's a good thing.
And to your point, Aaron Rodgers said he's never felt so healthy after a game. He's not bruised at all, and they only have a couple days before they play.
That's right. He's not getting beat up. The receivers aren't dropping the football. He's throwing touchdowns and not interceptions. These are all foundation pieces in the first quarter of the season for a veteran quarterback with a new head coach. These are great moments for Aaron Rodgers, and the defense is playing lights out. Most importantly, the defense is playing lights out, and they have their turnover ratio is +6. Yep. That's a great thing. They're getting the ball back to the offense. The one thing that has changed for Aaron Rodgers is that in his first 3 games, he's thrown 93 passes. Last year, he threw 116. They're throwing the ball a lot less. To me, you might throw the ball a lot less. However, you're winning more games. You have a better shot into the playoffs. This is all great things for Aaron Rodgers.
I think that also they've made wholesale changes as far as their front office. They've made wholesale changes as far as the type of prospects that they're going after. Not only as far as size, speed, but also what's their personality. Green Bay has been very, very conservative as an organization in the types of players that they want in their locker room. Aaron alluded to that. He said it's charismatic. It's never been charismatic in Green Bay since Reggie White left. All right? That's not the culture that they want. That's not what they're promoting. So that's one thing. It's a defensive-dominated team, even though you have Aaron Rodgers. So there's not pressure on him to throw for 275, 300 every week or to mount these big comebacks. I believe the team is built right, but also, if you're going to look at the coach and you're going to judge him, you have to take a snapshot of what they did in Tennessee. I know people said, oh, that was his personnel, but I believe it's his makeup. If you look at Kyle Shanahan, what does he want to do? He wants to be able to run the ball. What does Matt LaFleur, what he wants to do? He wants to be able to run the ball. Play action pass, it's up. Hadn't been this much since 2012 with Aaron Rodgers, and that's only going to get better. Westbrook will tell you here, you can only practice play action pass in the game. You can't practice it in it, because you know what the defensive guys do? They look at the call sheet. They know it's a play action. You're faking to the running back, and the linebackers are going backwards. You're like, it's not a real look. So you can't get that until you run the ball, you change people's mentality, and I wouldn't be surprised if they had a little change of pace, that they went empty, that they went no huddle. These are all things they can add as the season goes on. They got a very, very tough schedule, but I like Green Bay. I like this team. So I'm going to say this again. Aaron Rodgers with the defense. Sounds like a winning formula to me.
And the reason people should be the most optimistic about the Packers is the offense has not clicked yet. No. And they have not been through. Their 3-0 is not New England's 3-0. It's not Dallas's 3-0 as far as competition. They're all the same in the standings. But at Chicago, home for Minnesota, home for Denver. Now, Denver's not any good, but Minnesota...
That pass protection against Denver. If you just put that in with how they played those other...
100%. Minnesota has not lost except for the game they played the Green Bay Packers. Chicago has not lost except for the game they played the Green Bay Packers. Those are two games that could be important tiebreakers at the end of the season with the division. To be 3-0 and through 3 weeks, they have 860 yards. That's, what, 267 yards of offense a game? It's not very good. Through 3 weeks, they're 9 of 36 on third down. So in an average game, they're 3 of 12 on third downs. So the pessimist would say, man, the offense isn't clicking. It's not going to click. And But if you believe the offense is going to get better, if you believe that Rodgers, after not playing in the preseason and having a new coach and a new system for the first time as a starter, he's just going to be on the uptick. And now he's got the rust knocked off after missing the entirety of preseason. One time due to a bad field, one time because his back tightened up. If you think Rodgers is going to continue to improve, Green Bay has a golden opportunity on a short week against an undermanned Philly team when you play as tough of a first month as anyone in football to be 4-0. Green Bay would have loved to be 3-1 and probably, honestly, when they look at their schedule, new coach, everything, would have taken 2-2 and said, we'll survive it. If they can be 4-0, before the offense really gets going, it speaks to their ability to have home field go through Green Bay for the first time in a long time, to have the type of season we're talking about where Rodgers does not have to be the end-all, be-all for the Packers to be a good football team.
The most important thing for this team is the health of Aaron Rodgers. As long as he's healthy, as long as he's upright and they can protect him, this team will figure it out. The offense will get figured out. You can't tell me the best quarterback, one of the best quarterbacks that we've seen play this game in a very long time, can't figure it out with Jimmy Graham throwing the ball to someone that's 6'6" that can jump out of the gym. He is going to figure it out. It may take some time. They may have to run the ball a little bit, but because that defense is so good, they'll give him a lot of opportunity.
No, and you and I were talking before the show about who the identity of this offense is. Is it going to be a running team, but is it going to be Aaron Rodgers and everyone else? What's the system that's going to eventually come out of Aaron Rodgers and Matt LaFleur? But I guess it's okay to take some time to figure that out because their defense is keeping them in games.
Yeah, they want to have multiple ways to be able to win games. Right now, they're establishing the physicality. That offensive line, Pro Football Focus always has them rated as one of the better offensive line. But to me, I thought they were overrated because they weren't great run blockers. That starts with an attitude. That starts with how you're going to practice. The Packers have changed up how they practice. They've been very finesse throughout the years, no contact at practice. The practices now are far more physical, so it takes some time for that offense. And what about perception? Look at Freddie Kitchens in his first year as the head coach compared to Matt LaFleur. Thank God he had a defense, because if we were talking about those numbers that he has as an offense, you know what they'd be asking, Jenna?
They ruined Aaron Rodgers.
You want to change the play calling? Are you sure you should be calling plays? So he's very fortunate that he's able to get off to a slow start. Keep riding that defense. Keep riding those turnovers. Keep building up that run game, because Aaron Rodgers in that passing game, to me, I believe will be opened up as the season gets more mature.
They're absolutely figure it out.
All right, we got to take a break. Brian, stick around. Coming up, are you buying the Cowboys' undefeated start? Somebody isn't. That's next on First Things First.
Hey, man, you need to talk to the Philly people. Why don't I get invited to the reunion?
You're not in the Hall of Fame in Philly.
Oh,